Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today we are playing Nancy Drew, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. Now, in our last episode, we were out to help our friend, and so we came to her cabin at Moon Lake to investigate what she claimed were ghost dogs. And we ran into said ghost dogs, and it does appear that they may in fact be ghost dogs. But this is Nancy Drew, and of course we don't believe in that kind of stuff, right? Well, let's go ahead and hop in and see if we can uncover any more truth about these ghost dogs. All right. Now, we can go. Is it this way? Yes. Oops, we don't want to fix the pump yet. Because if we can get the boat fixed, then there is a good chance we can open up even more things to explore, right? We just needed like a spark plug or something. So let's see. I think this is the spark plug. Let's see.
Gotta have some torque.
All right. Do we have something that we can unscrew with? Is the screwdriver gonna work?
Gotta have some.
Oh, it will. Okay. Okay. I don't know how far we want it in. I guess, do we want it all the way in? Maybe. All right.
The spark plug is missing.
Okay, so that's where the spark plug goes. Now I understand.
The spark plug is missing.
Alright, so let's get the spark plug in. There we go. I didn't realize we had to screw those in too. Alright. Is there anything else that we need to do? I'm guessing that's...
some torque.
I'm assuming those are fine, right? I'm guessing. We'll see, we'll see. Let's see if it works. Oh. Okay, so we've got this. I assume that's for those. So, positive, is this neutral? Negative, positive? Okay, I understand. So, where is positive? Is positive gonna be up top? Maybe? We can see. So, positive was... This one was neutral, right? And then this one was positive. Let's see if it ends up working. All right. So can we start it? Aha! Okay, so that was correct. So we're here at Sally's home. We could go to the ranger station, or we could go to M's Emporium. Well, we owe a favor. Let's go ahead and head to M's Emporium, because we got the spark plug from our fellow bird watcher, and so we need to go ahead and try and pay back the favor that we owe him, right? Hello there.
Hey there. Welcome to M's Emporium. I'm Emily Griffin.
Let's see. My name's Nancy Drew. I'm staying out at the old Malone place. You know, the house Sally McDonald bought. I'm Nancy Drew. Sally McDonald said you might be able to help me, or I need to find somebody with a chainsaw, and Sally McDonald suggested I talk to you. Let's do this one.
I'm Nancy Drew. Sally McDonald said you might be able to help me.
I like helping people. Of course, I like selling them stuff even better. But keep talking.
Alright, I'm in town visiting her, you know, out at the old Malone place. Let's see. Well, Sally invited me to come out and stay with her for a while, but right now I need a chainsaw. So maybe, well, we do need a chainsaw, but what if we talk about this? She might give us some information, right? Let's say this one.
I'm in town visiting her, you know, out at the old Malone place.
Now, what's she doing inviting guests out to that old dump?
Alright, she's got a little problem she's hoping I can solve, but right now I need a chainsaw. As it turns out, I'm there by myself. The dog scared her off. Well, which option do we do? Let's see. Let's talk about the dogs.
As it turns out, I'm there by myself. The dog scared her off.
I told her. I said, Sally, that old house is going to be nothing but trouble. And sure enough, Malone's hounds have come back. Just when we all thought they were finally resting in peace.
Have you ever seen the dogs?
Have you ever seen the dogs?
Nope. Don't want to, neither. Just hearing 'em howl's bad enough. Scares the bejeebies out of me.
All right. When was the last time they appeared? I've got the bejeebies scared out of me twice last night just before I saw the dogs. I caught a man named Red Knot prowling around outside my house. We could say that.
I got the bejeebies scared out of me twice last night. Just before I saw the dogs, I caught a man named Red Knot prowling around outside the house.
The bird watcher.
Yes.
Comes in every so often to stock up on that weirdo food he eats. You know how them tree hugger types are.
It seems to me he was more into watching birds than hugging trees. How long has he been in the area?
Has he been in the area long?
About as long as those pink-billed warblers and purple-eyed owls he's always chasing have been around. Couple of months, I guess.
He did ask me, Mr. Knott did me a favor. In return, he asked me to pick up a cassette player from you. All right, let's do that.
Mr. Knott did me a favor, and in return he asked me to pick up a cassette player from you.
Oh, yeah. I got it right here. Thought maybe the old coot had forgotten he left it here.
All right, so we can take it, hopefully.
What else can I do you for?
Let's see. I need to get the water from Sally's well tested. How would I go about doing that? What do you know? I think we got to go to the ranger station for that, but let's ask her.
I need to get the water from Sally's well tested. How would I go about doing that? Do you know?
Just get a water testing kit from the ranger station and follow the directions.
Where's the ranger station?
Just up lake from Sally's on the east side.
Okay. Why would there be a problem with the water? That's what I've been wondering.
Why would there be a problem with the water?
'Cause it's well water. And seeing as Malone dug that well 80 years ago, what gets pumped out of it could be pretty funky.
I guess that makes sense. The so-called ghost dogs left very real paw prints. I saw some near the cemetery that's by the Malone house. Have you ever been there?
These so-called ghost dogs left very real paw prints. I saw some near the cemetery that's by the Malone house. Have you ever been there?
Can't say as I have. Poking around cemeteries ain't exactly a hobby with me.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Where do you find your antiques? I need to buy something. There's a large tree blocking Sally's driveway. Do you know anyone who can come out and clear it away?
There's a large tree blocking Sally's driveway.
Maybe we can hire
Do you
someone
know anyone who can
to
come out and
chainsaw it
clear
away.
I'll get Tucker Davis to take care of it.
Okay.
Gotta warn you, though. Tucker tends to do things in his own sweet time.
I mean, that's fine. Let's see. Where do you find your antiques?
Where do you find your... Achoo!
Bless you. It's all the dust. Sometimes I think it grows on this stuff.
Oh boy. Some of those old bottles are beautiful. Okay, what old bottles? I haven't even looked around.
Some of those old bottles are beautiful. Where'd you get them?
Found 'em. See, back in the days of Prohibition, that old Malone place used to be Party Central. Only way to get to and from back then was by boat. And when those boats dumped, on account of bad weather or bad driving or the feds suddenly showing up, well, everything from diamond necklaces to full bottles of illegal booze sank to the bottom of the lake.
Huh, okay. So it's finders keepers, huh?
So it's finders keepers, huh?
That's right. See, recovering objects from the lake bed is illegal. According to Squeaky Wheel Acres, dragging the lake for artifacts was upsetting its delicate eco-balance. So thanks mostly to his constant squawking, the state banned it.
Squeaky Wheel Acres. I think that's the ranger, right?
Squeaky Wheel Acres?
Jeff Akers, local park ranger. I keep telling him all this stuff washed up on shore. But does that snobby little stickler for rules believe me?
Let's see. Yeah, so she's not
Sounds
fond
like
of
you
him.
aren't real fond of Ranger Acres.
Jeff Akers could take all his precious rules and regulations and take a flying leap. Now, I got nothing against getting more customers in here, mind you. But I kind of like Moon Lake the way it is. Small, quiet, out of the way. But Jeff Akers, why, there's nothing he'd like better than to see all the lake and all the property around it turned into one big, noisy, jam-packed state park.
I'm guessing so he gets more like a reputation or a bigger paycheck or something like that, right?
Why would he want that?
He's the type
promotion?
of guy who likes to boss people around, makes them feel
Oh.
important. So if the park got way bigger and was crawling with tourists, why, instead of giving out maybe one ticket for littering every 2 days, he'd be giving out 12 tickets every 2 hours. He'd be in heaven. Well,
Oh
hey,
boy.
I'm sure you got better things to do than getting your ear chewed off by yours truly.
Can we buy anything?
I need to buy something.
You want it? I got it. As long as you pay cash, that is.
Let's see, that's just it. I'm running kind of low on cash. Would it be possible to start a line of credit? Right now, cash is kind of hard. Is kind of a problem for me. Do you think we could do some kind of trade out? Maybe she'll trade.
Right now, cash is kind of a problem for me. Do you think we could do some kind of trade out?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, huh? Seeing as how you're a friend of Sally's, and seeing as how I got some things around here that could use doing, I guess we could work something out. What is it you need?
Sandpaper, for
Do
sure.
you sell sandpaper by any chance?
I do, but Mr. Birdbrain was in last week and cleaned me out. Said he was tired of that observation platform of his giving him splinters in his hinter regions.
I wonder if he has any we could
Think I
get.
could get some from him?
He's your only hope. But you better ask him for it quick. That deck of his is pretty big, and those squares I sold him are pretty small.
Okay. So we'll
Guess
definitely
I'll see you
ask him for
later.
that.
Keep on trucking.
All right. Live bait sold here. Family, what is this? Oh, this is Emily's Moon Lake Antiques. Anything over here? Those are the bottles that she was telling us about. We got a rooster. Some more antique. What does this say? Buy a piece of the past. 80 years ago, Moon Lake was crawling with gangsters, flappers, and jazz musicians from the big city. They traveled to and from parties by boat and were so rich that if they accidentally dropped something in the lake, they wouldn't even bother going after it. Each item you see here was fished out of Moon Lake and was most likely belonged to some wealthy big shot. By legal means. Don't go home without buying at least one genuine artifact from the Roaring 20s. Okay. So maybe we'll be able to get something by your fishing license here. What does this one say? M. Benson, Amation? What? Oh, aviation. MB. Millie gets you there. Okay. What else we got? Some kind of fish diagram. There's something over here. Oh, this is a live bait. 5 for $4. Uh-huh.
Ew!
Oh, it's saying S. Alright, we got Christmas lights here. Moon Lake Fishing Wall of Fame. See what happens when you buy M's bait. Come here to M's Emporium. Our 100th customer award, Auntie EB and her nice bass. Alright, so that's like where we are, right? So you got fishing over there, closed to visitors. Best Catch Award, a lifetime supply of M's live bait for Amelia Jovanovich and her Northern Pike. Robbie Rivers with a black trout, second prize. Mac Hover Chat with a trophy bass. Billy Sanderson with a smallmouth bass. Jonathan Kai with a nice trout. Alright. Anything else around here? I think that might be it, right? Unless
Howdy,
there's
Nancy.
something else we can say.
Guess
Alright.
I'll see you later.
Keep
All right.
on trucking.
Well, let's head on out then. We got a lot of information, so we will go ahead and I guess maybe we go ahead and head to the ranger station, right? So we can see about the water testing kit. And hopefully it won't be too difficult. Alright. What do we got here? There's a fireplace. You can't do anything with it. Hey kids. Check out Moon Lake's nature highlights. Chipmunk. Gray squirrel. Eastern tiger swallowtail. Trout. Red-tailed hawk. Great blue heron. Maybe this is what we use, like, if we need to, like, reference something, right? Like the Dame's rocket or something, or the great blue heron. Like, maybe the birds will be important. Welcome to Moon Lake State Park. What's in a name? Moon Lake is an apt moniker for this crescent-shaped freshwater lake. One of Pennsylvania's best-kept secrets, the lake is home to various species of fish, including trout, carp, and freshwater bass. Fishing is permitted with a fishing license. Okay. So we may need to get a fishing license. Drop by the visitor center and say hi to our park ranger. The center provides all your needs and information for a fun and enjoyable time at Moon Lake. Anything down here? Critters. White-tailed deer, chipmunks, cottontail rabbits, otters, and skunks are some of the more common animals of Moon Lake State Park. Please note, all wildlife can be dangerous. Never approach, harass, or feed any animals, even small ones. Birds. Common shorebirds include the great blue heron and the mallard. East Beach provide ample opportunities for bird watching. South area, the portion of the park is closed to visitor, as several rare birds, such as the yellow-bellied flycatcher, are known to breed in this area of the lake. That may be important as well. Fishing regulations. To fish at Moon Lake, a person must be at least 16 years old. He or she must obtain a current license from a license-issuing agent, like the friendly park ranger behind you, sign it in ink, and display it on an outer garment. Also, a person should carry positive proof of identification while fishing, and be prepared to furnish it when asked. It is against the law to use more than 2 rods and/or lines when fishing, and no more than 3 hooks may be affixed to any line. A hook with 2 or 3 points is considered 1 hook. Using nets or snagging hooks to catch fish is strictly prohibited. Also, the depositing of trash in the water or the adjacent land is illegal. All persons on board any type of boat or kayak must wear a Coast Guard approved personal flotation device at all times. Well, we've got that. Show courtesy to other anglers and exercise safety at all times. The use of motors in excess of 18 horsepower is prohibited. All persons on board any type of boat or kayak shall wear a Coast Guard approved personnel flotation device at all times. The mooring of boats to any dock, wharf, pier, shop, or boat launch in a manner that interferes with public use, creates a hazard to swimmers or other watercraft is prohibited. Sailboats greater than 14 feet in length and multi-hull sailboats are prohibited. We don't have that, so it's fine. Inflatable boats must be greater than 7 feet in length, made of tough reinforced fabric, and have at least 2 separate buoyancy chambers, exclusive of any inflatable floor or bottom. All boats must display a state park launch permit, which can be obtained from your local park ranger once your boat passes his or her inspection. Uh-oh. Is that going to be an issue? Hiking tips. Always carry the 10 essentials. See the park ranger for a detailed list. Carry a map of the area and know how to use it. Dress in appropriate clothing. Although hiking by yourself is enjoyable, hiking with 2 is always safer and more fun. Children should not hike without proper adult supervision. Keep pets leashed at all times and clean up after your pet. Stay on the designated trails. Shortcuts can cause damage to precious park resources. For night hiking, use a flashlight to illuminate the trail and to watch for snakes and scorpions, particularly around the tall grassy areas and bushy undergrowth. Poison ivy and ticks are common in the park. Check yourself and your pet thoroughly for ticks after hiking. Be a friend to the park and help us keep the park clean. Okay, so that's pretty common stuff. What else we got? We could go check that out maybe. Oh, there's that guy. Yeah, let's go see what's over here before we go talk to the park ranger. Civilian Conservation Corps. In 1932, when the United States was in the throes of the Great Depression, presidential candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt recognized that the country was facing two very serious problems. Its natural resources were rapidly being destroyed by soil erosion and deforestation, and thousands of able-bodied men were unemployed and desperately looking for work. So when he was elected, Roosevelt immediately compelled Congress to pass the Emergency Conservation Work Act. It called for the establishment of a peacetime army of men who, stationed at various camps throughout the country, would undertake work projects that would save and revitalize the nation's forests while allowing the men to earn much-needed paychecks. By the end of 1935, this army, called the Civilian Conservation Corps, had been successfully mobilized and was hard at work. 500,000 enrollees were stationed at 2,650 camps, which were located in all 48 states as well as the territories of Hawaii and Alaska. The men undertook projects ranging from building roads and fire towers to stringing telephone lines to planting billions of trees. When the CCC was abolished in 1942, it had left its mark on every state in the nation. The importance of its role in the development of recreational facilities in national, state, county, and metropolitan parks throughout the country cannot be understated. The building in which you're now sitting is a testament to the dedication and determination of Roosevelt's tree army. Okay. I know we got the computer here. What's this? We've got several things here. I'm guessing artifacts of various sorts. Let's look at the computer. Welcome. Sunset over Moon Lake. Click on photograph to enter. Alright, Moon Lake database of fascinating factoids. Designed, compiled, and maintained by Park Ranger Jeff Akers. Health and safety tips? So I'm guessing well water. That's useful. Wells and well water. Moon Lake is too far from any major city for its residents to tap into a public water supply. Therefore, everyone living in the area must rely on private wells for the water they use every day for drinking, cooking, and bathing. Nowadays, wells are located and constructed according to requirements set down by the state of Pennsylvania. But a well does not last forever. Sooner or later, wells begin to lose their ability to keep out contaminants. For this reason, a well should be inspected every few years, and its water should be tested at least once a year. Water can be contaminated by chemicals, such as pesticides and fertilizers, by naturally occurring elements, such as arsenic and lead, and by waterborne microbes, which can cause such diseases as dysentery, hepatitis, and giardiasis. See the factoid on that under health and safety tips? And cryptosporidosis. Well water that is contaminated may look and smell fine, which is why testing is imperative to ensure safety. On the other hand, well water that smells and tastes like rotten eggs may be perfectly safe. This unpleasant odor may come from the underground rocks surrounding the source of the well water, but more likely it is caused by bacteria, which, though harmless, live in rapidly multiplying colonies in the well and emit hydrogen sulfide gas as part of their life cycle. Disinfecting the well with carefully calculated amounts of chlorine can reduce or eliminate foul odors by destroying the bacteria which create them. The Grimley County Extension Service has more information on shock chlorination. If your well is more than 20 years old, which I think ours would be at Sally's house, right? Has not been used or tested for more than a year, or there's a sudden change in the quality of your water, immediately stop drinking the water and disconnect your plumbing system from the well. Then get a water testing kit from the friendly, ever-helpful park ranger behind you. Take a sample from the well, see the factoid on priming a pump if your pump doesn't work, and send it to the address included in the kit. When working with water systems, large or small, always remember turning the valve to the right will shut off the flow of the water, while turning a valve to the left will allow water to flow. In other words, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Yes, we know this. All right, so what was this disease? Okay, so it's pronounced giardiasis, or beaver fever. It is an illness caused by a parasitic giardia that live, or is it giardiasis? I don't know. That lives in the intestines of people and animals. This one-celled microbe is protected by a hard outer shell and can survive outside its host for a long time, which is a major reason giardiasis is one of the most common waterborne diseases in the United States. When these hard-shelled cysts are expelled into the environment in the waste matter of infected animals or humans, they stay in the soil until they contaminate a food source and are accidentally ingested, or until they are carried into streams, rivers, lakes, or recreational bodies of water, such as pools and hot tubs. Swimmers or campers who swallow water that contain even a few cysts can develop giardiasis. Because beavers tend to live near outdoor water sources, their fecal matter was blamed for spreading the disease when it first gained notoriety, hence the name beaver fever. But any mammal, including people and their pets, can harbor the parasite and spread the disease. Symptoms usually occur 1 to 2 weeks after the parasite is ingested and include diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and stomach upset. In healthy people, these symptoms will usually disappear on their own after about a month. People whose immune systems are compromised should be treated with anti-parasitic drugs, or the illness could become chronic. It is very contagious, but because the cyst must be swallowed in order for the parasite to invade the intestine, washing hands thoroughly with soap and water before eating or handling food, and after using the toilet will go a long way in preventing infection. People suffering from giardiasis or its symptoms should avoid pools and hot tubs until they have been symptom-free for at least 2 weeks. Never drink untreated water from streams or lakes when hiking or camping, and always wash and or peel raw fruits and vegetables that may have come in contact with contaminated soil or water. If you must use water that you suspect contains giardia, heat the water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute, or filter it using a filter that has been NSF rated for cyst removal. I don't know if any of that's going to be relevant, but we'll see. Alright, I think we'll read priming a pump. We can always come back if we need to read the other things, I think. Shallow well pumps, which can lift water a maximum of 25 feet at sea level, operate on the same principle as a drinking straw. The action of the pump sucks air out of the intake, or drop pipe, that extends down into the well, and when a partial vacuum is created, air pressure does the rest, pushing water up the intake pipe and out the spout of the pump. So when a pump seems to stop working, that is, when it fails to suck any water up and out the spout, no matter how much the handle is pumped, it probably needs to be primed. To prime a pump, simply pour potable drinking water into the top of it and pump the handle until the water flows from the spout. It's a good idea to fill a container with water right away and keep it nearby so you'll have water the next time the pump needs priming. A pump needs to be primed because built into the pump is a cylinder through which runs a plunger. One end of the plunger is attached to the pump handle, and the other is attached to a valve, which opens when the handle is raised and closes when the handle is pushed down. The sides of the valve, its leathers, must be wet in order to create enough of a seal with the edge of the cylinder to pull the air out of the intake pipe and allow air pressure to force water up the pipe into the cylinder and out of the spout. The longer the pump goes without being used, the drier these leathers will become. Of course, in time, these valve or cup leathers will eventually wear out and have to be replaced. Is there anything else? Well water should be tested at least once a year to make sure no chemicals or disease-causing microbes have contaminated the water. Alright, so I don't know that we'll need to know about this stuff yet. Maybe we will, but right now I think we're fine. What's the nature slideshow? White-tailed deer, peregrine falcon. So the birds we should pay attention to because we might need to know what they are. Red squirrel. That's Moon Lake during the fall. Another spectacular Moon Lake sunset. Oh, a glowworm. White-tailed. Okay, and then we're back to the beginning. Do we got a history? Let's see. What do we got? Lenape tribe. The first residents of Moon Lake were members of Lenape tribe, one of several Algonquin speaking tribes that populated the northeastern U.S. for hundreds, if not thousands of years prior to the arrival of settlers from Europe. Because the early colonists had trouble pronouncing Lenape, they lumped the tribe in with all other Algonquin-speaking tribes they encountered and referred to the larger group as the Delaware Indians. This is because many of the Algonquin-speaking tribes lived in the large drainage basin of the Delaware River, which had been named after an Englishman whose title was Lord de la Warr. Curious and friendly, the Lenape were hospitable to the early colonists, but as the number of settlers grew, so did the tension between the two groups. The Lenape believed that the land belonged to the Creator, and as a result, they had difficulty understanding the concept of private ownership by which the Europeans seemed to live. The Lenape gradually migrated west, settling for brief periods in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas. At each place, the Lenape were told that this was to be their new home, but after a few years, the Europeans would change their minds and force them to move again. They finally settled in Oklahoma, where more than 11,000 Lenape still live today. Early settlers. Native Americans were the first true settlers, see Lenape tribe. Around 1635, immigrants from Europe moved into the area. We're getting our history lesson today, guys. Mostly of German and Scotch-Irish descent, they farmed the fields around the lake, hunted game in the woods, and lived peacefully alongside the Lenape. But as more and more settlers came, the demand for land increased, and so did pressure on the Lenape to move out. In one instance, the Europeans talked the Lenape into turning over to them as much land as a man could walk in a day and a half. The Lenape agreed to the deal, and the settlers promptly sent men out to run as far as they could in the allotted time. The walking purchase, as it is called today, forced many Lenape to leave Moon Lake forever. Like the rest of Pennsylvania, Moon Lake was very anti-slavery. Prior to the Civil War, the Redsky Farm on the north side of the lake was rumored to be part of the Underground Railroad. Is that Sally's farm? The secret network of people who would hide slaves fleeing from their owners in the South and help them travel to Canada where they'd be free. Dozens of slaves at a time reportedly sought refuge during the day in the huge cellar of the farmhouse. When night came, they had resumed their perilous journey to the north. Nothing remains of the farm today, though in the 1920s a gangster, see famous residence, built a house in the approximate spot where the farmhouse once stood. So maybe, because Sally's farmhouse is in the north, right? I think so. Famous residence. It's the doggies. In the early 20th century, many celebrities from the East Coast spent time here, including Florence Ziegfeld, famous producer of Broadway musicals and revues. In fact, in 1926, his boat, the Folly King, ran into the rocks in the north end of the lake and capsized. Nobody was hurt, but rather than going to bother of repairing the boat, Ziegfeld simply left it there. Legend has it that for years, a local dog would swim out to the wreck every day and lie on it, barking at everyone who came near. The boat gradually disintegrated until now no trace of it remains. Local legend has it that Ben Franklin spent the summer of 1744 on Moon Lake's south shore. That summer was a particularly stormy one, which has led to speculation that his interest in lightning and electricity were sparked by his experiences here. Ooh, the dad jokes. Moon Lake has some infamous residents as well. In 1925, at the height of Prohibition, Mickey Malone, a gangster from Philadelphia who got rich smuggling and distributing illegal liquor, built a house on the North Shore at the site of the old Redsky farm. Okay, so it was. People came up and down the East Coast to attend the parties he threw at Moon Lake. He was convicted of tax evasion in 1933 and sent to prison where he eventually died. So that is the same farmhouse. So I wonder if that will come into play. Like maybe there'll be something we can find there. Like if we get to the basement or whatever. Creation of Moon Lake State Park. We got a lot of information here. Acquisition of land. Let's see. Hopefully this one's not super long. In the early 1900s, as automobiles began to make the rural parts of the state more accessible to people from the big city, interest in hiking and camping in remote areas such as Moon Lake grew. Interest in saving forested areas instead of allowing them to be destroyed by logging increased as well. In 1919, a group of private citizens, mostly from Philadelphia, formed the Moon Lake Conservancy in order to raise money to acquire and preserve the land surrounding the lake. By 1921, the group had acquired most of the land on its west, south, and east shores, a total of 1,004 acres. The land was donated to the State Forestry Department and formally became Moon Lake State Park in 1930. Although the Moon Lake Conservancy no longer exists, many people still dream of the day when they can walk all the way around Moon Lake without encountering private property. If you own land on Moon Lake or know someone who does, please consider selling, or better yet, donating it to the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Ask your friendly park ranger for more information. That's going to automatically put him as an enemy of Sally, right? The Information Center at Moon Lake and its adjacent sanitation facilities were built in 1939 by the Civilian Conservation Corps. See the poster on the wall beside you. The CCC etched the year into the cornerstone of the building using an ancient numbering system called Roman numerals. I mean, that's easy. All of the hiking trails in the park, except for the Mingo Saddle Trail, were created by the original inhabitants of the Moon Lake area. The Lenape, okay, so the CCC incorporated these trails into the park by widening and marking them in the late 1930s. The Bureau of State Parks surveyed, cleared, and blazed the Mingo Saddle Trail in 1969 in order to link Moon Lake State Park to the Appalachian Trail via Delaware Ridge. So that might somewhat come into use. We already know Roman numerals, but you probably noticed the letters etched into the right-hand cornerstone on the front of this building. MCM XXXIX. This is not the name of the building. Rather, it's the date of construction completed, 1939. So 1,000, 100 from 1,000, so that's 9. 30, and then 9. It's easy. The letters are Roman numerals, a numbering system invented by Romans some 3,000 years ago. The system is a simple one. I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and M is 1,000. In Roman numerals, the number 3 is expressed as III, the number 8 is VII, number 68 is LXVII, 168, and so on. We can see this. The Romans made one slightly tricky adjustment. This might be important. When it came to writing 4s and 9s, oh, this is just the rule. In Roman numerals, anytime a letter representing a smaller number is placed in front of, to the left of a letter representing a larger number, the smaller number is subtracted from the larger number. So, I mean, if you know Roman numbers, this is easy. So 4 is 1 minus, 1 taken away from 5. And then 9 is 1 taken away from 10, and so on. So that's pretty straight. Let's find out about this park ranger. So Park Ranger Jeff Akers was born and raised in Tyrone, Pennsylvania. Upon graduation from Norris High School in 1989, he attended Penn State, where he earned a bachelor's degree in park and recreation management. He has been a park ranger at Moon Lake State Park since 1996. Because he spent much of his childhood at Moon Lake, he is excited about introducing visitors to what he calls the best state park in the country. From geology to astronomy to meteorology, Ranger Akers knows his stuff, so if you have any questions, just ask. He's here to serve. Alright, is there anything we ought to know under here? It may be useful, but right now I think it's fine. We can always come back if we need more information. What's in here?
I probably shouldn't mess around with this without Ranger Akers' permission.
Probably not. Alright, I don't even know what it is, but we'll go with that. Alright, so now I think we have thoroughly explored everything. Wait, what is this? Did we explore this? Learn to identify the poison ivy plant and you will have taken the first step to avoiding poison ivy. The popular saying, leaves of 3, beware of me, is a good rule of thumb for poison ivy. Some people are very sensitive to poison ivy. They can develop a severe rash with blisters and extreme swelling. Such severe cases need medical treatment. You can prevent the misery of poison ivy by looking out for the plant when you're outdoors. You can destroy these weeds with herbicides in your backyard. Okay, if we have them. Hantavirus. I wonder, these things keep coming up. I wonder if we're going to need to know this stuff. There are several types of hantaviruses, but hantavirus pulmonary syndrome can cause acute respiratory failure and death. The rodent most likely to transmit the disease to humans is the deer mouse. Now, it did say, do we have mice? So this actually might be important. A deer mouse infected with the hantavirus does not act or appear sick. Infection occurs when tiny particles from deer mouse saliva, urine, and droppings containing the virus are kicked up into the air, a process called aerosolization and inhaled. I wonder if that is what we have this stuff for, if we're going to have to clean up after the mice. So early symptoms of HPS can occur anywhere from 1 to 5 weeks. Fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, chills, abdominal problems. How to avoid it. Avoid these areas or take precautions when cleaning them. Never sweep an area inhabited by mice, as sweeping would start particles which could then be inhaled. I didn't even know that. Wear a respiratory mask and rubber gloves. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely what that's for. And thoroughly wet down the area with a bleach and water solution. 9 parts water, 1 part bleach, okay? Remove dirt from the area with a damp towel, mop, or sponge. Double back the cleaning materials before disposing of them. Okay, so I imagine that is going to be useful. All right, now this is the other thing we read about. The beaver fever. Let's see. They're expelled into the environment from the waste of infected animals or humans. We've read mostly about this. It's very contagious. Never drink untreated water. Alright, so we actually, yeah, and then boil the water if you suspect it has it. We've read about that. Lyme disease. This is from the ticks. Is an infection caused by a bacterium carried by deer ticks. The spring and summer months, May through November, pose the greatest risk of infection. Alright, deer ticks flourish in wooded, brushy, or grassy areas where animals, rodents, deer, and birds on which they feed are abundant. So I think we're going to be tramping through that, so that's going to be important. Fever, fatigue, chills, headache, muscle joints, and aches. Most victims will also develop a distinctive rash that resembles a bullseye. Okay. Prevention tips. Wear light-colored clothing so you can see ticks and knock them away before they can attach to your skin. Always wear a long-sleeve shirt and tuck the bottoms of your pants into your socks or boots. Inspect your skin carefully after every outing. If you find any ticks, remove them by grasping them with a pair of tweezers, then pulling with a firm, steady motion and washing the area with antiseptic. So that could be potentially a thing. Forest fire prevention. We don't have Smokey the Bear. We have, like, somebody the skunk. It's up to the people using our nation's parks and forest lands to prevent forest fires. While some fires are started by lightning, the most devastating fires tend to be started by human carelessness. Use common sense. No smoking allowed anywhere on the park grounds. Fireworks and firearms of any kind are strictly prohibited. Campfires are allowed in the park, but only in designated areas. No fire allowed on park beaches at any time, okay? Don't let 1 minute of carelessness destroy what it took nature decades to create. So I don't know how much use we'll find that, but you never know. Alright, so I guess it's time to talk to you. Hi, my name is Nancy Drew. I'm visiting Sally McDonald. Are you the park ranger? I don't know that we want to... I don't know. Nancy Drew, I'm visiting the woman who bought the old Malone place. Sally Okay, let's just start with this. This is the most innocuous response, I think.
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm visiting Sally McDonald. Are you the park ranger?
Park Ranger Jeff Akers, at your service. Let's see. Sally McDonald is the woman who bought the old Malone place.
Yes, that's right. Only she's gone back to Philadelphia. Malone's dogs got to her. That's her. Unfortunately, she seems to have developed a problem of the canine kind.
That's her. Unfortunately, she seems to have developed a problem of the canine kind.
Don't tell me she believes all that ghost dog stuff.
I don't think either one of these first two responses is really going to help us. Does that mean you don't? I saw them myself. I think it would be better to get the legend. Let's get as much information as we can.
So you know the legend?
I know almost everything about this area. Not only have I lived here all my life, but you're standing in the unofficial Moon Lake Museum of Factual and Natural History. I'm its equally unofficial curator.
Alright, so what's your take on all this ghost dog stuff? I think that's a good question.
What's your take on all this ghost dog stuff?
He's probably going to
Whatever's
say
out
malarkey.
there, I'm sure they're no more and no less than exactly what they look and sound like. Dogs. Living, breathing, very noisy dogs.
Alright, why do you think dogs would attack Sally's house? Any idea what would make them glow yellow?
Any idea what would make a dog's eyes glow yellow?
Yeah, that's...
Something in their diet, maybe? Some oddball vitamin or protein.
Why do you think they'd attack her house?
Why do you think dogs would attack Sally's house?
Dogs can be trained to do almost anything.
All right, let's get the well kit, the
Do
well
you
water
have
kit.
something I could use to test the well water at Sally's?
Sure do. Simple to use, too. Just pump some water into this vial, return the sample to me, I'll send it off, and in a day or two, you'll find out whether or not your water's fit to drink.
All right. Do wells go bad very often? We read about that. It was like every few years, right?
Do wells go bad very often?
Depends on when they were dug. The older they are, the more susceptible to contamination they are.
Okay. What do you know about the cemetery?
What do you know about the cemetery behind the Malone house?
People are buried there. Beyond that, what's to know?
Is Malone buried there?
Is Malone buried there?
That's the rumor.
All right. Would you mind mailing this letter for me? Do we have a letter? I don't know. Let's ask him.
Would you mind mailing this letter for me?
Not at all.
All right, and let's look around.
Would it be okay if I looked around?
Please do. And if you have any questions, any more questions, just ask.
I mean, we always have questions.
Thanks
We're
for all
Nancy
your
Drew.
help.
Always a pleasure. Oh, and one last thing. The deer mouse population has boomed this year, so please take precautions if you're cleaning out any area where they may have nested. They can carry some nasty diseases.
Thanks
Right.
for the tip, Ranger Acres.
All right, so that's cool. Can we look at what is this? It's like a dog bowl or something. We've done an awful lot. Let's go back, see if we can get the well water. We can start the testing process, right? We've tried to see about getting the log cut. So that's a thing. All right, so we're supposed to prime the pump, right? So we're gonna have to get some water because it won't. All right, so we need to pour water in there, right? Maybe we can fill it up. Yeah, it's not. We're gonna have to prime it, and I think that's where we pour it in at. So maybe, can we fill up water from over here? I don't know. Let's see. Where's our bucket? Can we fill up water? Doesn't. If we can, it's not from this area, right? Where would we fill up the water at, I wonder? Because it's turned off inside, right? Let's head in. Let's see. Maybe we can try calling people. Let's call Sally. So, see if we can update her on anything that we've found. Maybe she knows where we can get some water.
Hey, Sally, it's Nancy.
Nancy, hi. How's it going?
All right, let's ask. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask her. We've got to find some water to prime it
Is
with.
there a trick to getting your pump to work? When I pump the handle to get a water sample, nothing comes out.
It needs to be primed. Take some good water, like from the jug in the kitchen. Pour it into the top of the pump, then start pumping. That wets the seals so they expand and make a vacuum or something. You have to do it every so often, whenever the seals dry out.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Keep me posted.
All right, so I knew that we needed to prime it. Was not sure where to find the good water. Is it gonna be in there? Ah, there we go. Okay, so now we can get it. So let's head on out. Okay. Now let's head right here. Pour the water in. Okay. Now we should be able to pump it, right?
I need a bucket.
Yeah, we need to set the bucket down, I think. Alright, and then pump it. And it should come out. Alright. And then we fill it up with this. Alright. That's done. Okay, so maybe we can go ahead and turn it into him. I mean, we're kind of running back and forth here, but at least this way we can get the water testing out of the way and off of our to-do list. And then we need to come back, sleep until night, and go get sandpaper from our little from our bird watcher. All right, let's turn around. Let's see, where are you at? You're over here.
You're back.
All right, so I have the water sample.
I have that water sample. What do I do with it?
Just give it to me, and I'll take care of it.
All right.
Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure.
Be sure to listen to Red's cassette tape now that I have the cassette player. Okay. Can we... let's see. Let's grab this. Put it in here, right? Or... Alright, can we eject it? Oh, we got it in now.
American goldfinch. Northern cardinal.
Okay.
Red-tailed hawk.
Okay. I wonder if these are all the birds we gotta get.
Tanager.
Okay, so 4 different birds. And then I guess we can go see Red. Oh, the dog is back. He wasn't here before. Hello, doggy. Aw, he's just a happy boy. Alright. How old is this tree? Did we see this before? Did you know that growth rings on a tree indicate its age and the environmental conditions in which it grew? This cross-section is a reproduction of a pine tree that was 62 years old when it was cut down. Please note the large size of this display does not reflect the actual width of a 62-year-old pine. Broad, evenly spaced rings indicate healthy growth. It was a pine seedling then. Okay, then we have a growth disparity occurs. Although the tree is growing straight again, narrow rings indicate competition for sunlight nutrients from other trees. I see that. A burn scar from a forest fire that quickly scorched the forest. Rapid growth begins again, probably due to the removal of neighboring trees. A prolonged drought in the area causes narrow growth rings. These narrow rings are the result of a sawfly insect infestation. The sawfly larvae consume conifer buds and needles. Interesting. Alright, well, I guess we're going to try and talk to Red and see if he'll give us sandpaper. If not, we might have to go bird hunting. Hello.
You find all the birds?
I'm sorry to keep bugging you.
I'm sorry to keep bugging you, but I need some sandpaper. Emily said you might have some.
Here, take it and scram. I was just about to call in a meadowlark. That was always Ruth's favorite.
Was Ruth your wife?
Good heavens, no. My wife had no patience for birding. Ruth was my dog. Border collie. She'd hear a meadowlark, and by golly, her ears would perk, and she'd cock her head, and she'd just come as close to smiling as ever a dog could.
Let's see, do many people around here own dogs?
Do many people around here own dogs?
Not really. Most people don't bother. The place is surrounded by park land, and Ranger Acres just loves enforcing the leash laws. There it is again. Take your sandpaper and go sand something, okay?
Okay, we will go. But now we can go see about the dog statue, right? In the house. So we'll see if we're able to sand this now, right? So let's sand.
Stuck.
Let's sand this. Alright, so now can we turn it? Okay. So now they're all facing forward, but maybe they don't all need to be facing forward. Well, we have sandpapered it. Now what do we do? Alright, I wonder if there's some kind of clue or riddle in the house that tells me how to solve the dog puzzle. I wonder that too. Let me look at the notes on the dog, right? On the dogs. Maybe, I wonder if it has something to do with, were they facing different directions in the graveyard, maybe? Oh, wait. Summer, winter, fall, spring. So maybe that is what's important, right? Let's give Bess a call and see if Bess and George have a clue for us. You know, because we always bounce ideas off of them. Maybe they'll have an idea we haven't thought of. Let's give it a try and see what they say.
Hello?
Bess, it's Nancy.
I know that. What's going on?
Alright, Moon Lake is gorgeous, but is so remote. The park ranger is the closest thing they have to a sheriff around here. Did I mention that all the well water in Sally's house comes from a well? Let's just talk.
Moon Lake is gorgeous, but it's so remote. The park ranger is the closest thing they have to a sheriff around here.
Park ranger? What's he like?
Which, as we all know, is embarrassing. Park ranger? Is he cute?
Not true, George. Nancy thinks everybody's cute, so what would be the point? Anyway, Nancy, you were saying?
Let's see. His name's Jeff Akers. He's very helpful, polite, efficient, knowledgeable. I mean, yeah, that's the impression that I got. He seems like an okay guy, but frankly, no one around here seems to like him very much.
Well, he seems like an okay guy, but frankly, nobody around here seems
Yeah,
to
I
like
don't
him very
understand
much.
why.
He takes his job very seriously, which tends to rub some people the wrong way.
Did you tell him about the ghost dogs?
He thinks they're just plain old dogs that for some reason like to run around at night scaring people.
And what does
I
Detective
mean-
Drew think about the dogs?
I think Sally had good reason to be scared of them. I don't blame her for leaving, which leads me to think that maybe that was the whole idea.
Somebody had those dogs attack Sally in order to scare her away?
Why would
Maybe.
anybody do that? She was
They
there
want
for
her
less than a
land?
month.
You'd have to be a total creep to make enemies that fast. And Sally's one of the nicest people I know.
Ooh, Nancy! Speaking of cute guys, Frank and Joe Hardy called. I filled them in on where you are and what you're doing, and they're dying to hear from you.
Great. Did they leave a number?
Great. Did they leave a number?
Their number is 280-555-4865. Bess didn't recognize it when they called and almost didn't answer the phone.
Good thing my cousin here has a memory like an elephant, huh?
What's that supposed to mean?
Call them, Nancy. They're dying to hear from you. But remember, Frank's cute and all that, but George and I want to hear from you, too.
Yeah, no fair discussing the case with them from now on and not with us. Promise you'll keep us up to speed?
I promise.
Alright, so the bird watcher I met has got me taking pictures of birds for some survey he's doing. He's a bit of a grump.
This birdwatcher I met has got me taking pictures of birds for some survey he's doing. He's a bit of a grump.
Does he live nearby?
No, he just kind of hangs out in the woods. In fact, I only see him at night.
Interesting. He's in the woods at night. The dogs are in the woods at night.
Could he have had a reason for wanting Sally out of the Malone house?
As far as I know, he and Sally were on good terms. But I also know that Red doesn't seem to have much use for any life form that doesn't mold.
That's
He
true.
sounds like my Uncle Zach. He's into birds. Only he doesn't watch them. He hunts them, then shoots them. I never really liked my Uncle Zach.
Let's see. Let's talk about the well
Did I
water.
mention that all the water in Sally's house comes from a well?
Ew, really? Does it taste like rotten eggs?
Not all well water tastes like rotten eggs, Bess.
I don't know if it does or not. Because the well is so old, I need to get the water tested before I drink it.
Good
True.
plan. Nothing will wreck your day faster than a nice tall glass of contaminated water.
Alright. Well, I was gonna get a hint, but we sort of got one with the phone number, right?
Bye, you guys.
See ya. Bye.
So let's try giving them a call first and see what new information we get. Time to call the Hardy Boys. See if we get an answer.
Hello?
Hey, Joe. It's Nancy.
Nancy? How's it going? No, wait. Don't answer that. Talk about the weather or something.
The weather?
Yeah, that'll give me time to grab the other phone and take it outside. Frank's washing the car. He'll kill me if he misses anything. Here, wait a sec. Take a break. It's Nancy. Hang on. He's putting the hose down. He's drying his hands.
We're getting the
walking
full
over.
narration.
Nancy, hi. What What's up? Bess and George say you've got another mystery on your hands. Or should we say, on your paws.
They told you about the dogs?
Indeed.
We made them tell us everything. Pumped them dry. As you may have guessed, we're not exactly rolling in detective work here.
So you're living vicariously through me.
It's not the first time, sad to say. What conclusions have you reached so far, detective?
Let's see. If nothing else, those ghost dogs are very well trained. I'm watching them to see who owns and or trains dogs around here. I've convinced that someone is using those ghost dogs to scare Sally into abandoning Malone's house. If I can just figure out why, I might be able to figure out who. So, yeah, I think that's true.
I'm convinced that someone is using those ghost dogs to scare Sally into abandoning Malone's house. If I can just figure out why, I might be able to figure out who.
Never hurts to look for motive.
Let's see. And they are well trained. Malone and his 4 dogs are supposedly buried in a little cemetery near the house. They've all got headstones with inscribed with when they were born and when they died.
Malone and his 4 dogs are supposedly buried in a little cemetery near the house. They've all got headstones inscribed with when they were born and when they died.
They're all born on the same day, right? Or no, they all died on the same
Not
day.
that I'm aware of.
Then who had the tombstones inscribed?
Oh, I never even thought about that. Now I'm
Exactly
wondering.
what I was wondering.
Sounds like this latest puzzle of yours is still missing a few pieces.
You seem to be getting nowhere fast. Let's go ahead and do
I
this.
seem to be getting nowhere fast. Anybody have any suggestions?
We can probably come up with a few, but we're not going to make it easy for you. After all, it's your case, not ours. Time to go bird watching. Use your ears as well as your eyes, and keep that camera ready.
Alright,
Later,
I
guys.
kind of
You bet.
figured.
Bye, Nancy.
Alright, so it is in fact time to go bird watching. Well, so as we found out from the Hardy Boys, it's time for us to go bird watching. But we will do that in the next episode because I definitely don't want to get lost and be wandering around in the dark. So we're going to have to start fresh at night, of course. I mean, we'll check it out in the next episode, and we have 4 birds that we're gonna have to find and track down. Hopefully, we can find them. But we are going to start working on that. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live or on Twitch, at twitch.tv/Leora27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description. And if you want to see which games I'm playing each day, I post them on x.com/Leora27. And I hope you join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye.